Hi everybody, it is April 19, 2024, and Jay Northrup. I just started a half hour early, a half hour later. Hi everybody. Another fabulous night in our new world order. Linty and Alicia and Cecilia and Andrew and Barb in Ohio. Hi. Donna Davidson, hello. Moss Patchouli and T. Lamb, thank you. Nice to see you. Sheepdog Patriot. Amelia, hello. Silent Walk, hi. And Jay Northrup. Crystal Ingram, Christy Hazelwood, Kim Blanchard, hello. Can I ask what a Smurf is? What are Smurfs? I know, I'm really... Am I that old? Am I that, like... I don't know what it is, but I've seen people leave that word and I'm like, I should have looked it up. I don't know what a Smurf is. Okay. I ain't hip. I admit to it. The 90s Brooklynite and Julie and Awakened Sleeper and Justin Wynn and Denise Martinez, hi. And Elizabeth Rivard, very nice to see you in-house. Thank you to my two moderators that are here. Mary Mack, hello. Matt Bingham, nice to see you. Something to chew on. James B, hi. Kenosis. Julie C, hi. And if I have missed anybody, I apologize. And hello to everyone. The little blue cartoon people? No, you're not cartoon people. But according to one moderator, you're the blue people. Oh, Smurf is a little blue people cartoon. Got it. Okay. So, was she saying hello to the moderators? I'm really out of it. Joni, hi. Frank Grimes, hi. Blue cartoon characters. Gotcha. All right. Okay. All right. I get it. Yeah, you're the blue people, Elizabeth. I do not disclose information that I get on that telephone when I'm talking to people. Look at this. I get nervous when I don't see a whole lot of precipitation and storms taking place, though we do now have, and this just developed because about a half hour ago, there were no supercells. There was just a little thin line, West Virginia, which is still here, but I did not see any activation of supercells, and now we have it. Now we've got it going. All right. Alabama, Georgia, be careful. They seem to be spitting it out and then disappearing it in South Carolina. But when I don't see anything happening, I just feel like, oh my God, what does that portend? Does that mean that they're all taking a break and sitting around a conference room and sharing information and sharing data. And all right, how many places have we hit, and didn't we hit them 2, 3, 4 times, and maybe we need to hit them in other places? And no, well, obviously my brain just goes on the way it goes on. But there was a little bit of weather, and this is in Ohio, and the tornado, you know, I can't even keep up with how many tornadoes there have been. There were 22 tornadoes in a short amount of time, and that was a couple of days ago. So now I see these new videos of tornadoes hitting, and having looked at the radar, I think, okay, this is yet another hit. I don't know, though. It's hard to kind of keep track of these news channels putting out the information. But there was a lot of damage in the Cleveland area.
5. Ohio, the heart of it all. Now, the heart of tornado season.
We've got a brand new tornado warning out for Portage County and Trumbull County here in northeastern Ohio.
With yet another round of severe storms devastating neighborhoods across our state. News 5 tracking every moment to help you stay safe.
It's coming in from the south and west, so I want you to put as many walls between you and the storm as possible.
The storm spawned several tornadoes, a pattern that's now become routine.
All of a sudden I saw like a big cloud swirling, and I'm like, that doesn't look right. We need to get downstairs.
Leaving us familiar scenes of homes, businesses, and communities ripped apart.
It's just kind of a godsend that nobody got hurt.
Okay, so this was the tornado a couple of days ago, but the reason why I wanted to share some of it is that the destruction was far bigger than I had thought. I mean, a greater scale of destruction.
Strength of the wind. That mobile home went from here to there. Just take a look. You see that metal piece completely folded, like a piece of paper. Now, I spoke to the man that was inside it, and he left because he heard the winds, and I said, what happened? He said, that moment I saw God. Now, out here in Portage County, we've talked to so many people with similar stories. We talked to another man who said he's just lucky to be alive.
Where that Jeep was, that's where this boat was sitting.
And it just flipped.
Flipped right over.
Off Bryant Road, Elizabeth Sheely is still processing the damage to her grandparents' home.
Seeing it gone is actually sad because we lost our grandma in 2017. So this was something that they built together, and now it's not here.
Her grandpa, Dan Harvey, was in the house cooking dinner with her sister and another grandchild when it got dark and the house started shaking.
The front window got blown in, and you can see there's glass everywhere.
When I opened the basement door, I could see daylight, so we went to the bathroom.
That light he saw was from his home, partially pushed off of its foundation. You can see it right here, and when you stand here, you're looking straight into his basement.
It literally pushed it probably 10 feet off of the foundation.
News 5 chopper video also shows the roof completely gone.
As you can see, part of the roof is laying on the porch now. Our tables are all strewn all over the place.
Dan's house faces similar damages to many others along a 3-mile radius in Portage County due to last night's tornado.
We assessed 23 homes in visual. 3 were destroyed, 3 were major damage in the emergency management criteria.
The sheriff's office tells News 5 the windstorm touched down at 6:45 and lasted about 6 minutes.
We did have an EF1 tornado strike down just south of us here on State Route 303, went in a northeasterly track over the Ohio Turnpike and ended right after State Route 82 here in Windham Township.
No one was injured or killed, and First Energy along with Spectrum are working to get power back as soon as possible.
We have a power line coming off the pool here.
For Dan and his family, they're still trying to process what's left of their home.
First thing popped my head is my truck was gone. I was like, oh my God, where's my truck? And I'm looking around, and then I see it over here.
Just amazed how that truck ended up there. I'm just amazed.
Though it may not be salvageable,
Put the remodel, but I didn't want to do it this way.
they're just happy everyone's okay.
As long as we could just keep the land and fix everything that we can, and just, he still has a home.
Yeah, lots of destruction. And Elizabeth, you had tornado-like winds where you are in Canada, and it damaged your trailer. I hope the damage was not extensive. It doesn't matter if homes are built to last. Scalar weapons, directed energy weapons, they can literally vaporize material. So all right, so what do I have here? You're breathing poison, geoengineered chemtrails. This was sent to me by a subscriber whom I'd like to thank. I'm just going to play a few minutes of a half-hour video, which is very good. You might want to circulate it for sure. It's, again, on Think About It's channel.
Polling shows most Granite Staters are concerned about issues like housing and the high cost of living. But the New Hampshire House took a bit of a detour last week as state reps debated legislation to ban what they call stratospheric aerosol injection. There was no mention of the word chemtrails in House Bill 1700, but lawmakers brought it up on their own on the House floor.
This is the conspiracy theory that condensation trails left by aircraft in the sky are not frozen water vapor, but actually attempts to control the weather or somehow poison populations on the ground. It's been widely and repeatedly debunked by the scientific community.
But that wasn't what reps told the public when they took to the House floor last week.
I'm not going to speak on what's currently going on in our atmosphere. Oh, he's talking about chemtrails. Oh, that's a complete conspiracy. That's not going on. That's never happened. Fine. Let's say it hasn't. I have here in my hands federal guidelines, a federal framework plan to implement such measures.
Weather weaponry is not a novel technology or some far-fetched theory. The theory of and the patents for weather manipulation go back over 100 years. Quote, weather was a weapon in Vietnam. Do you expect them to discontinue this? These trails in the sky that last for the entire day and dissipate to become blanket cloud coverage of our sky are not condensation trails.
And one of the more interesting aspects of this bill is that it would require county sheriffs to participate in the investigation of any public complaints brought forward regarding chemtrails. No word on how deputies would patrol or surveil the open skies over the Granite State. This bill was soundly defeated, but 58 reps did vote against, killing it.
58 reps voted to kill it. We want them. We want the poisons. We want the weather modification. The reason why I'm saying this is good to circulate is because maybe people will listen if state legislatures are talking about weather weaponry. Who knows? Unlock that brain. The link is in the chat. You never know. See, that's the thing. You never know who will be affected in a good way by the circulation of information. Just that in itself. You take the action, you let go of the result, and very often you have no clue what the result is. You have to do the right thing. So, that's my theory. And listen to this.
Did you know milk produced in the United States is banned in Australia, New Zealand, Japan, and all of the EU? And is banned because of a growth hormone they give to the cows to make them produce more milk. It's called RBGH, and all of these countries have banned it because of how damaging it can be to our health. Europe banned this hormone over 20 years ago, but yet the regulatory authorities in the United States continue to to approve it for use every year. Did you know milk produced in the United States is banned in Australia, New Zealand, Japan, and all of the EU?
Well, some of you, if you've listened to my videos when I was talking about the ban on certain foods, the ban on certain chemicals, the ban on dyes, the ban, European countries banning foods, banning pesticides, and we never do. We are exceptional. Food. Milk. Banned because of a growth hormone they give to the cows to make them produce more milk. RBGH. All of these countries have banned it because of how damaging it is to our health. I know. I'm repeating what that man said. But I do have to say one more time. Yes, we have had treasonous, disgustingly corrupt politicians, leaders in local, state, and federal for a long time, only getting more and more obvious, and we did nothing. There were a few, and I remember back 2007, 2008, a friend of mine who was very active, I shouldn't say very active, but active in trying to get our foods labeled. Please just label them, please. While Europeans were protesting to get genetically modified, the engineered food, to stop it completely. And a whole lot of them achieved success. Did they achieve success in the very long term? I don't know, I haven't checked it out, but please just label our food. We just want to know what we're eating, and yet we know that we're being lied to on the labels. Yeah. Europe banned this hormone over 20 years ago, yet the regulatory authorities in the United States continue to approve it for use every year. Countries that have banned the use of this growth hormone: Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, Israel, and Austria, Belgium, Denmark, France, Germany, Greece, Italy, the Netherlands. All of those countries. American milk, ugh, we don't want it. Something went wrong with the American experiment. Could you at least agree to that? So, here, another fabulous airline incident at Washington, Reagan Airport in Washington. And there was a JetBlue and a Southwest almost colliding on the runways.
7 Taxi Alpha.
Southwest 2937, Washington ground, give way to the American Airbus left to right, runway 1. Taxi via Kilo Charlie, cross forward Charlie, pull over to the right, tower on the other side.
All right, after American, going to 1, Kilo Charlie, cleared cross forward, let's stay to the right, Southwest 2937.
JetBlue 1554, traffic pulls off your right, wind calm, runway 4, cleared for takeoff. Blue Street 5226, left turn at November behind the Embraer, ground point 7.
After November, my number air, ground point at Blue 62, 26.
Stop. Southwest 2937, stop.
We stopped. We were cleared to cross runway 4.
And we stopped at Blue 1654.
It's really remarkable that there are still people who fly, because what is happening is really, it's kind of pathetic, but nothing will work ever. Inconvenienced, frustrated, killed. That's the name of the game with everything. Power outages. Do they let you know why? No. Cell outages. Do they let you know why? No. But you just have to sit there for 14 hours and your phone doesn't work. 911. Oops. Outage. Do we know why? Oh, it's those Chinese nationals coming across and hacking into our infrastructure and screwing everything up. This is going to get so much worse. It's a madhouse, as far as I'm concerned. We are living a madhouse. We are now living in a madhouse, a violent madhouse. So, you guys think of a word that could describe madhouse on steroids. Now, another man lit himself on fire. Okay. And he, of course, had a manifesto. Manifesto of man who set himself on fire outside the Trump trial, posted online. The manifesto was posted online. This took place today. Reporters at the scene. Now, apparently, I'm going to let you listen to one witness who talks about seeing this guy and what she saw. But his name was Max Azarillo. And he was sitting there, and he apparently had a bunch of flyers. And the interviewer and interviewee didn't know anything but the flyers. But then I came across this article. The flyers, it identified Max. He tossed them into the air before committing the shocking act. The flyers, the true history of the world, and contained a QR code that linked to a Substack account called the Ponzi Papers. Azarillo stated his name and occupation as an investigative researcher. And as I'm reading this, of course, everybody, is saying, oh, mentally ill, an old-time hippie, conspiracy theorist, yada, yada, yada. Everything that he's writing, I can't verify every detail, but for sure, a whole lot of it sounds quite right on. You tell me if it sounds quite right on. AT&T cables cut at Sacramento Airport today. Well, that's interesting. So here, Max. Friends of a relative of the man confirmed Azarillo's identity, described him as someone who had developed mental health issues. He was really a good kid who got really far down socialist rabbit holes, worked as a grassroots democratic organizer. He was just a really decent kid, like a really well-meaning guy. Very old school hippie. And in the Substack post, he wrote, "I have set myself on fire outside the Trump trial. This extreme act of protest is to draw attention to an urgent and important discovery. We are victims of a totalitarian con, and our government, along with many of their allies, is about to hit us with an apocalyptic fascist world coup." Yeah. Okay. All right, so from there, he makes several wild accusations about the United States government, prominent universities, U.S. presidents, other politicians, The Simpsons, COVID, Jeffrey Epstein, cryptocurrency, and more. The author is seemingly calling out any and all government officials from every part of the political spectrum. So, his manifesto, I'm going to read it. As it turns out, our elites are awash in Ponzi schemes. Stanford's StartX.com investment fund and Jeffrey Epstein's program for evolutionary dynamics he ran at Harvard are both fake science Ponzi factories that these schools have invested billions in. They are filled with fraudulent companies that use smoke and mirrors to promise miraculous new technology, but always collapse while the perpetrators only get richer. To better understand our form of government, I will point you to one of the most astonishing pieces of standalone evidence I found. Arkansas Governor Bill Clinton's 1988 DNC speech, which is really... that was a speech that went on and on and on and on, and it kind of put the nation to sleep. All right. So Bill Clinton, his speech, where he nominated Mike Dukakis for president against George Bush, the speech is a vile, mean-spirited roast of Dukakis that makes no sense whatsoever. For Clinton to ruthlessly attack a member of his own party should have been political suicide, and he repeatedly mocks Dukakis' noble and earnest qualities. Now I'm going to have to go back and listen. Notably, actor Rob Lowe, who was supporting Dukakis, was victim of a teen sex blackmail operation at the DNC that year. Since we know Clinton is a close associate with teen sex blackmail artist Jeffrey Epstein, we can suddenly make perfect sense of the nonsensical speech by applying this lens. Bill Clinton is a cocky mob boss who blackmailed Mike Dukakis because Dukakis thought his job was to help the public. He teases out the future public revelation that Kitty Dukakis drank rubbing alcohol. Remember that whole, oh, she's in a psychiatric institute. Kitty was Dukakis' wife, and oh boy, I guess that's when it mattered, right? Alcoholic. They said that she was consuming rubbing alcohol. Michael was taken down. So Kitty Dukakis drank rubbing alcohol and offers a strange anecdote about the crack epidemic that reveals he is an exceedingly proud drug runner, which is what he was as governor of Arkansas. What does this revelation tell us? That our government is conning us completely, that Bill Clinton was secretly on George Bush's side, former CIA director, and that the Democrat versus Republican division has been entirely manufactured ever since. Clinton is with Bush, Gore is with Bush, Trump is with Hillary, and so on. When they present themselves in public, they are acting as characters that are against one another, practicing kayfabe as wrestlers do, and I don't know what that is. One of the key findings of this research is that Harvard University is one of the largest organized crime fronts in history, which is how they churn out billionaires. It's a major hub of this sprawling criminal network. As it turns out, dozens of the writers of The Simpsons went to Harvard. So I asked myself the question, if The Simpsons served the interest of organized crime, how would it do so? Social media owned by crypto criminals like Zuckerberg and Musk is flooded with nonsense conspiracy theories and memes, reminding us that we are hopeless, helpless, anxious, depressed, ironic, scared, apathetic, escapist, lonely, misguided, jaded, telling us we can't do anything but have a laugh at our circumstances. These are excerpts from the manifesto, so I would like to hear what he said, more details about The Simpsons, but liberals mock the hypocrisy of conservatives. Conservatives mock the hypocrisy of liberals, and our collective circumstances erode. The left shouts all cops are bastards, which ensures they'll be hated by the police and the public and hated by everybody. And flies in the face of leftist theory. The public's distrust of the government is at an all-time high, and so is the belief that we are helpless to do anything about it. And yes, that belief also allows people to just never contribute anything. And this is his conclusion. So, but again, it's the left is creating an awful lot of problems. But when the Republicans are in power, they create problems. Both sides working together create a problem. Oh, everybody gets so excited because the Republicans are mouthing a solution. The solutions throughout decades, throughout my entire life, have always hurt the American people, whether red or blue. So his conclusion, he began it with, this is obviously very bad news, but the biggest lie we've been told is that we are powerless. We've got one way out of hell world, and that's for the public to realize that we've been conned completely so we can build a united movement that shatters every lie they've told us, mocks this rotten farce, as loudly as it deserves, and aims at nothing short of abolishing our criminal government so we can build one that serves the public. Yes, he had filed a federal lawsuit against dozens of perpetrators of the cryptocurrency Ponzi scheme, not for litigation, but just to preserve the information, attach his name to it. Azarillo ended his screed by saying, I hope you know how powerful you are. I wish you a hell of a lot more than luck. Now, some of what I read I didn't fully understand. But you can't say he's wrong. Can't say he's wrong, right? You can't say he's wrong. And he sure did get his message across. Gained an awful lot of attention. Unfortunately, he's in ICU, critical condition. So this happened outside in New York City, outside, across the street from the Trump trial. Witnesses describe scene after man set himself on fire outside the courthouse. And listen to this woman, how she's talking about Republicans. It's such a disgrace. Americans are such a disgrace. We just rip one another apart, and it's all based on a lie. Isn't that amazing? It's all based on bullshit. It's all based on, individuals who have been manipulated by mainstream media, listening to all of the bullshit, attacking one another. Man, I can't stand it.
Now we are getting some witness sound, so let's play that out as we wait for the police to give their official update.
For the dystopian of the Trump era, I have been taking pictures of Trump supporters, many of whom are unbalanced, and frankly, this society feeds into a lot of these poor people. I don't know this guy's politics. He seemed to be somewhere out there.
He was a Democrat. Yeah, I've been taking pictures of Trump supporters, and many of them seem unbalanced. Take a look at the Democrats. Enough said.
He reminded me of men I had been friends with in my 20s who were on the other end of the spectrum. That's actually was my first thought when he got up, was he looks like people I used to be friends with.
Thank you for your time. I'm so sorry you had to go through this, and I appreciate you sharing.
Julie, I'm sorry. Can you just explain to me what you saw that led up to this and how close you were to him?
I didn't see, he was sitting on the bench for a while. I thought the signs were his. He had two large, like the ones you get like kids poster board signs. One about some Ponzi scheme. There was something about Substack.com. Another one suggesting that Biden and Trump's were in cahoots and there was going to be a coup. And he was just sitting quietly, and he had a stack of flyers. I was going to get a flyer, but I didn't. And then at some point he got up. Right before he got up, I turned around and I took a picture of him. He stopped and let me take a picture, and then he got up and walked not towards me but towards the area where I was, and I realized that I thought the signs weren't his, and I was actually going to say to him, "Oh, that wasn't you," like the haha that you were just sitting there. And then he reached down and got like a big can, which apparently was propellant. I actually thought it was water at first. What through in my head was maybe he's homeless and he's hot, and doused himself and then threw his flyers. And then he got the second can and yelled at me to run away, get away, and lit himself on fire.
He told you to get away?
Yeah, he did. Like I wasn't actually walking that close to him. I was walking towards him, and he yelled at me to get away because I guess he thought I was going to stop him. It didn't even occur to me to stop him. It happened so fast.
Yeah. What did you do? What did you do when that happened?
When he took out the lighter, I moved back. I didn't know what to do. I've never watched someone annihilate.
Ultimately, did those posters and flyers belong to him that you saw?
I'm fairly certain because there was another stack of the same. They were like pink and green right next to the posters. I'm not sure, but I think they were his.
But one of the posters suggested something about Trump and Biden.
Yes. Some conspiracy theory that this is all some ploy and there's a coup happening. I mean, he's obviously not together.
How old did he appear to be?
I don't know. I was thinking he reminded myself this whole time as he was sitting there that he reminded me of young men that I had been friends with in the 90s, except you were on the other end who worked at Greenpeace with me. A lot of these young Trump supporters remind me of my friends, and he was one of those people who could have been 19 or 35, anywhere in that age range.
Anything about why he was doing it? The only words you heard from him were...
That's all I heard. Somebody else said they heard him saying something about some family court judge. I did not hear that, and I think that was before.
Sorry, what did you hear him say?
Just to get away when he took out his lighter.
What did you hear? Sorry, we can't hear. What did he say?
He told me, he warned me. He thought I was coming towards him, and I guess he didn't want me to either stop him or get hurt. To run away, get away.
Was he wearing any political gear?
No, he just had the two signs. I mean, it's...
What did his signs say?
One was something about Biden and Trump are like there's going to be a coup, like they're together was this conspiracy theory, and the other was something about a Ponzi scheme, something about, I think it had Substack.com was the end of the website, but I can't remember the first part.
Yeah, he's been here all week. I've seen him. He's been carrying a sign, the same sign.
How far away were you when you saw him?
It's a sign that says something about how Trump and
I don't know, maybe where that truck is.
Julie, could you give us your full name?
Julie Berman.
BERMA.
All right, as that witness sound continues there, that...
Interesting listening to people's perspective, isn't it? So here is the man on Rumble.
Hey, want to learn the biggest secret in the world? In March 2023, sketchy billionaire Peter Thiel started...
He doesn't seem
Hey,
any.
one word.
Oops, sorry. He does not seem any different
Hey.
than any of us. I mean, obviously there are differences, but oh man, all right.
Hey, want to learn the biggest secret in the world? In March 2023, sketchy billionaire Peter Thiel started a bank run. I did 1,500 hours of research, and I learned all their rotten secrets. The big one is that cryptocurrency is history's first planetary, multi-trillion-dollar Ponzi scheme. That's an economic doomsday device. And when that Ponzi goes insolvent, as all Ponzis must, we'll get the worst economic collapse in world history. And every powerful person you can think of is in on it. Want to know why everything gets worse and more expensive? That's because we live in a secret kleptocracy. That's when the government gets taken over by con artists whose only job is to steal from the public. And I hope you know this is wonderful news, because now that the public knows about the secret kleptocracy, they get to abolish their criminal government. Follow for more, or read this booklet, and you will bend history.
Well, yes, I would agree with that, Kim. I am too. But, yeah, even if I thought in those terms, I would never have the courage to do something like that. A whole lot of people may think he's crazy. Well, you gotta know the man. You know, extreme action. And he got an awful lot of press. But a whole lot of people will read it and just, oh my God, a crazy conspiracy theorist. And all of the bullshit. And you heard her say that she heard him say something about it was Biden and Trump working together to for a coup. Yeah, they worked together. Oh my God! Oh my God! Yeah. So Jim Banks introduces legislation to defund NPR. NPR, funded by listeners like you and the government. The bill. This was Republican Indiana Jim Banks, Representative Jim Banks. The bill would cut off any federal funds to NPR. This came about due to Ari Berliner, but I've spoken about him in recent lives, and he was a senior editor at NPR for 25 years. He was suspended because of an article that he wrote about, it's not journalism, it's propaganda, leftist propaganda, and then he quit. So, Berliner published a piece alleging the outlet has deep political bias, and the Washington, D.C. Bureau employs 87 registered Democrats, 0 registered Republicans. He resigned after NPR suspended him for publishing the piece. NPR's new CEO, Catherine Maher, has also made headlines as old tweets and clips of her show, Political Bias. Maher, who was hired in March, previously expressed support for Biden's campaign in 2020 and called former President Trump a racist in 2018. She has also described the First Amendment as the #1 challenge to combating misinformation. And I also, there was more information disclosed in last night's live about this Catherine Maher, who is the CEO I mean, she comes from the World Economic Forum. She comes from disinformation organizations. I'm sorry, Democrats. I know how much you love NPR. And I also know that it kind of feeds your arrogant ego that you're listening to NPR because you think it's just they're just so intelligent, and you're an idiot. You're stupido, okay? I ain't Italian, obviously, but really? Really? I was one of you, okay? I finally got out of that little bubble and realized, oh, you're not as smart as you think you are. You're very comfortable, though. I'll give you that. She also described the First Amendment as the #1 challenge to combating misinformation. NPR's new CEO this is what Banks said. NPR's new CEO is a radical left-wing activist who doesn't believe in free speech or objective journalism. Hoosiers, you're a Hoosier if you're in Indiana. I always thought that was like a football thing, but Hoosiers should not be writing her paychecks. Yeah. Nor should New Yorkers, nor should Arizonans, nor should everyone. No one should be writing her paycheck. And it is so telling that Americans pay for their own demise. They pay to be lied to. They pay to have people destroy them. Catherine Marr isn't qualified to teach an introductory journalism class, much less capable of responsibly spending millions of American tax dollars. NPR was a liberal loony bin under the last CEO, John Lansing, and it's about to get even nuttier. It's time to pull the plug on this national embarrassment, and it is. Congress must stop spending other people's hard-earned money on low-grade propaganda. Don't you think? Don't you think? Well, Blount County mobile home evictions leave homeowners scrambling. And this is in Tennessee.
Everything going up, you barely pay your bills and have some so you maybe can buy groceries. And it's hard.
That is Inga Marie Sands. She understands just how hard it is to make ends meet and keep a roof over your head. Last week, 10 News spoke to several families at Maryville's Thornhill mobile home community who say they received eviction notices recently. Those homeowners say there aren't many places to put trailers in Blount County, and the cost of moving or finding a new place to live, it's just too much.
We heard from many of you after our first story, and 10 News Blount County reporter Libby Cunningham spoke with one woman about the realities of moving a mobile home. Libby?
John Robin, Inga says she's been a homeowner for years. But when you own a trailer, you rent the land it sits on. That explains this eviction notice. An attorney told me that people being forced out of mobile home courts, it's been happening more since the pandemic. Homeowner Inga Marie Sands said she never expected to be living here, and she's grateful she found a place to live after being evicted earlier this year, but it came at a cost.
There went my life savings that I had to pay and move, and here I am. I hope I can pay next month's bills.
She called an attorney and got some help from some friends, so she was able to move somewhere new, but she's still unpacking since her life was upended in January. It's not cheap to move a trailer, and it takes a while to get the lights turned on.
It's heartbreaking. I mean, I have a car. When I slept, I had to sleep in my car. If my friend Susie Hatton said, you and your dogs come and stay with me.
Attorneys for the landlord where Sands' home was say he bought the property Inga's home was on in January and didn't want to operate a mobile home neighborhood there anymore. He's allowed to do that. Sands and 4 other tenants were given 30 days to leave. Attorneys for the landlord where Sands' home was say he bought the property Inga's home was on in January and didn't want to operate a mobile home neighborhood there anymore. He's allowed to do that. Sands and 4 other tenants were given 30 days to leave. Daryl Winfrey, an attorney with East Tennessee Legal Aid, says oftentimes the laws favor landlords, but it's important for tenants to know their rights.
It does.
Okay, so just in case you need to learn your rights, the link is in the chat. Oh, hard times, hard times. Keep falling on individuals on a daily basis, more and more, finding hard times. I am just shocked. Texas mother shares warning after warrant issued. Listen to this.
Like, I literally laugh out loud. Like, this has to be a joke.
A mother of 5 says an overdue library book landed her in a mountain of trouble. You just heard from her there. She claims there was a warrant out for her arrest. The mom talked to us about what happened. Stephanie Whitfield joining us live with more on what she had to say. Steph, wow, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, you heard her. She says she is still in shock. Kaylee Morgan says this is a cautionary tale for anyone who checks out books from a local library. Now, Morgan says she checked out a book from the Navasota Library last year when she was pregnant with her 5th child. In her words, life happened, so her family returned one of the books late. She thought everything was fine, but when she went to renew her driver's license, Morgan learned there was a warrant out for her arrest. She says she's charged with theft of government property and now owes nearly a $600 fine. Right now, she's also worried about the long-term implications of all this.
My profession before I was a mom was banking. So who's going to hire someone to be a banker if they have theft of government property? I can't think of anybody that would do that.
Right now, according to the Navasota Library's website, librarians start sending out notices when a book is 30 days late. If it isn't returned after 2 written notices, it becomes a criminal offense. This morning, Morgan has raised enough money on GoFundMe to cover her fines and the cost of an attorney, but she doesn't want this to happen to anyone else. Now, keep in mind, not all libraries are going to take you to court over late books, so if you haven't this morning, it's a good idea to check the policy at your local library.
Cops hardly investigate real crime, but put a warrant out for a woman with an overdue library book. 74-year-old senior living resident shot to death over the weekend in her apartment in Houston, Texas.
New at 10, families want answers after a retired teacher was shot and killed at a West Houston senior living facility. Police say 74-year-old Carol Weber was found dead Saturday at Tremont Senior Living. Families with loved ones there say management isn't telling them anything. ABC 13's Brooke Taylor spoke to those families tonight. What did you hear, Brooke?
Eric, before we were kicked off the property, seniors who live at that living center, along with family members, told me it was the first time they heard there was even a shooting when I had asked them about it. They say that they are shocked by this and they want answers by management who they put trust in and they say have not heard a word from. Family members tell me this is 74-year-old Carol Weber, a retired local teacher, found shot to death at a senior living center. Police say she was found shot inside her apartment at Tremont Senior Living on Westerland Drive Saturday afternoon. A neighbor, too frightened to speak on camera, tells me Weber mentioned someone knocking on her door during late hours and says several other neighbors told her they experienced the same thing. Brandy Demiris has an elderly mother also living there.
I
if there was actually a shooting here and they are aware of it, which they would have to be, I am incredibly upset and would consider moving my mother, hearing that they wouldn't be letting the families know, or the residents.
According to HPD, there's no motive or suspects right now. With no arrest and a shooting at a senior living facility, residents and their families believe there should be more transparency. I reached out to management to see whether they've increased security, concerns about someone knocking on doors late at night, and why residents weren't notified about the shooting. I was told they have no comment.
The majority of the people that I've come into contact that live here are alone and are borderline needing assisted living, more or less, someone to check on them. And I would say that Tremont's pretty good about keeping up with them and the neighbors keeping up with each other, but this could be completely swept under the rug without these people knowing.
So, any of you have parents in any kind of senior living housing that you need to tell them that they should not be opening doors to anyone. No one. Police arrest a 13-year-old, a 14-year-old, a 17-year-old accused of attacking a woman on a bus. Ohio.
Yeah, Craig, that is mentioned several times in the 911 calls and over police radio. But police say the teens didn't just attack this woman. They say after the assault, the group also kicked at the bus's door, breaking the glass. So now they've got criminal damaging on top of a slew of other charges.
She was struck by someone on the bus?
Yes, they beat her.
You just heard a Metro bus driver's 911 call. It was Saturday at around 4 p.m. He'd pulled off at the corner of Coleraine Avenue and Banning Road because just minutes earlier,
he's bleeding on the bus.
A group of teens had a woman on the floor, repeatedly punching and kicking her, causing serious injuries to her face. That was the victim, clearly shaken, heard on the driver's call. Police say before the assault, the teens had been threatening her.
They're just strangers. Apparently she got on the bus and they started talking to her when she got on.
Police say 5 teens are responsible, while 2 ran off.
They ran behind the PNC bar.
They arrested 3 others at the scene. Booked into the Hamilton County Juvenile Detention Center, they were released the same day, but we got a hold of their court documents. Those records show at the time of the arrest, the 14-year-old had marijuana on them. The 17-year-old was carrying a knife, and the 13-year-old is facing separate charges for auto theft. The teen is accused of stealing 2 cars from 2 people at the end of March.
Wow. And what a surprise. No one cared. No one did anything. What a friggin' surprise. Nope. Wanted couple gambled away over $1 million, including client money intended for home renovations. Oh boy, people using money that is not theirs. Got an awful lot of those all over the country. Screwing other people. Gambling, this couple.
Tonight, clients say they were left high and dry after paying tens of thousands of dollars for home renovations to a local construction company. Thank you for joining us at 10. I'm Andy Sirota.
And I'm Lisa Hernandez. Keith and Daniela are on assignment. Tonight, the owner and his wife are wanted on felony charges because investigators say the work never was completed and some of that money was gambled away. KPRC2's Bryce Newberry joining us live from Sugar Land tonight with the story of one of the alleged victims who've come forward. Bryce?
Lisa and Andy, these alleged victims are all over the Houston area, from Sugar Land to Cypress to Friendswood. And according to court records, this couple came up with repeated excuses for why the work wasn't getting done. The wife at one point even blamed a delay on her husband having a heart attack, but investigators say that was all a ruse. Instead, they were at casinos in Nevada, Louisiana, and Mississippi, spending big.
They had taken out the grass, they had rebarred everything. It was a stressful, couple of months.
The patio at Rohan and Ria Krishna's Friendswood home looks a lot better now, but for weeks, the backyard was torn up.
He had an excuse for everything. Whenever we were texting back and forth, it was either the weather or something else or his family.
They hired Alec Miller in October to put in a covered patio and extra driveway lane. He came recommended with a contract and seemed professional.
Everything seemed legit. I mean, yeah, it was very responsive.
The project would cost $30,000 according to court records, but Miller asked Krishna to pay nearly 40% up front, then for $500 for supplies, then another $2,500 for upgraded flooring, then nearly $4,000 for a final deposit.
$18,000 gone.
All those payments before calls, emails, and text messages went unanswered.
I was just beside myself. I'm like, does that mean that it's gone?
The Krishnas aren't alone. 3 others say they got swindled too, with various excuses, including a heart attack and medical issues, for a total of more than $87,000. 55-year-old Alex Stephen Miller and his 52-year-old wife, Andrea Pierce Miller, are now charged in the theft scheme. Investigators say large amounts of money from victims landed in his account before being transferred to hers using Zelle. At the Golden Nugget Casino in Lake Charles, Louisiana, the Millers allegedly spent more than $1.5 million on gaming tables and slot machines. Bank records and rewards accounts revealed some of that money straight from their clients. Investigators found nearly 6 transactions at casinos in different states when he was purportedly unable to perform work and around the dates he supposedly had a heart attack.
Yeah, we had no idea. It's just amazing.
Now enjoying the patio completed by someone else, the Krishnas hope their expensive mistake doesn't cost others.
How do you figure out how not to get victimized by people like this? Because this kind of stuff is going on so often now. It's really, I mean, how give out a minimal amount, even if they want more, a minimal amount, and then you want to see work done, and then you pay for the work done. I don't know. Abused homeless 4-year-old boy gets help thanks to fast food workers. I can't listen to that again. Police officer charged with raping 13-month-old, his girlfriend's 13-month-old, and I can't listen to this again. Southtown homeowners describe creepy encounters. This is San Antonio, Texas. Creepy encounters with unwanted guests.
And tonight's top story, possible peeping Toms in Southtown. This morning, 2 similar reports just blocks away from each other. And new tonight's surveillance video shows a man in a hoodie hop a fence, you see it here, and make his way into a homeowner's backyard. What the owner says happened next was scarier. KENS 5 reporter Megan Reina picks up the story from here.
What I saw from my bedroom was somebody just like this.
It was 2 a.m. and Christina Balzadua, who lives off Mission Street, immediately called 911 when she spotted the shadow of a man outside her bedroom door. Her neighbor's surveillance video captured this, the moment a trespasser deliberately hopped her fence to head to her backyard.
So that was scary because it's really like 2 feet from, where I'm sleeping to the outside.
Police came right away. She says it's because they were just 3 blocks away on East Gunther Street, responding to an even creepier call.
I wake up at 1:30, my daughter is screaming. She's in her bedroom and she's just screaming, blood curdling screaming. Get out, get out, get out.
This homeowner wanted to remain anonymous. She says this is the second time in 3 days someone has broken into her home and been face to face with her teenage daughter. The first time on Monday, she admits they left a door unlocked, but this time
she caught him halfway in and halfway out of the window. But she said she saw both guys because both nights he was standing over her, asleep.
The suspect used a window the homeowner says they didn't even know could be opened. Both neighbors have been in contact. They're hoping police can find these people and keep them away.
After 22 years living here, never a single problem except for a few things stolen off the porch. And now all of a sudden, 2 people in 1 week. It makes me I don't know how I'm going to sleep tonight.
Be very careful. Be very careful. Looks like a fine neighborhood. She said never encountered anything like it. I have played in other areas, the Peeping Toms. You know, a guy jerking off outside the window of a woman's home. There are a lot of people out of work. Yes. Can someone tell me what the hell is going on? So there's going to be an awful lot of people who will be, the light will go on and they'll be thinking, what the hell is going on? And hopefully they'll have a conspiracy theorist, someone they can go to find out what is going on. And that is absolutely our responsibility.
Hey, can someone actually tell me what the hell is going on now? Like, seriously, what is happening? We have a crazy housing crisis here in Australia. I know it's global, but we've got one here in Australia. And they've just let in, last month, 105,000 immigrants. In a month. Okay, can someone tell me where the fuck these people are living? Like, where? What do they do for a job? Like, we've got businesses shutting down here. We've got over 3,000 building companies go bust here in Australia in the last 12 months. There are a lot of people out of work. You know, there's 2 cafes right next to my salon, bust. You know, I could go on. And people are letting people go because the businesses aren't profiting as much now. But we're piling in all these people when we don't even have any housing for them. Where are these people going? My friend just had her rent put up $260 a week, right? So she has to leave. So she starts looking around for something else. She drives onto a street and she can't even park her car. And she's like, well, I wonder what that's about. They're all looking at the same place. Like 50 people. 50 fucking people looking at one place. And you want to bring in 105,000 in a month. We brought in over 900,000 immigrants last year, in the last 12 months, into Australia. And it's just driving all the prices up of the rents. Like, my rent just went up $150 a week. But $260 a week. I hear that it's regulated in every state except for Queensland. Someone can correct me on this, but in Queensland you can just slap on whatever you want.
Well, in other areas of Australia, it seems that they're just hiking up the rents. That if they are regulated, they're not regulated very well. Not regulated for the tenants' benefit. But I seem to have lost my Aussie subscribers in the chat, because I would like to know, when she says $260 or $250, does she mean American dollars? A week raised at $260 a week, which means for a month, that raise is $1,000 approximately. Am I getting that right? I don't know. Woman discovers that Walmart has been inflating the weight of meat by over double.
And to prove I'm not full of shit, here we go. 4.78 pounds. 2.2 pounds. 4.78. 2.2. Let's look at the other one. 4.9. 2 pounds. Walmart is getting us. Screwing us. Right? They're screwing us. And to prove I'm not full of shit, here we go.
didn't have the mic on. Yeah, we have major problems with retailers. Walmart, every retailer is unfortunately really racking in the money and doing it in a very deceitful manner. Okay, but is it really Australian dollars? I still think it's a lot of money. A lot of money. All right. So a couple of breasts of chicken. I don't eat chicken. I don't buy meat or milk. $23? Are you flipping nuts? And the other one was $20? That looked like it was like maybe 2 breasts. What? Now I know that everything I'm buying, the prices have gone up, but I can't imagine. I can't imagine having children and having to put dinner on the table. I can't imagine having to do that, considering all of the food now is just a toxic mess. But how do you have children and you're not wealthy in this economy? How? Welcome to peak boomer era. A wave of retirees is about to blow through their savings and cling to Social Security to stay afloat. And I bet a whole lot of people will be happy to hear that boomers are suffering. We shouldn't be happy that anyone is suffering. Anyone. Over 30 million peak boomers are entering retirement financially unprepared. I just wish families could come together and take care of one another. That would be the best answer. Now, I'm going to post the link to this. This is Targeted Justice newsletter. How do I tell my family I'm targeted? This was sent to me by a subscriber. I never got a chance to read it, but that's a topic that one really needs to seriously consider telling anyone. You don't tell the police. You do not tell if you're seeing a therapist. You do not tell anyone in mental health. And unless you can trust that your family is not going to, report you as crazy. And unfortunately, that's kind of a wait and see. It's really sad. Find the targeted support groups. It's hell. It's just pure hell. So this link apparently is too long. So you can go to Targeted Justice. I'll put the link into the Substack. And you'll be able to. It was just posted today. Come on. Come on. So, people's lives are literally being destroyed by other people who are gung-ho, getting paid to do it. I don't know. If you have family members that are narcissistic, don't go there. Don't go there. Talk to people that you trust. But in our world, you then later find out you can't. You were wrong to trust them. So I don't know what the hell, you know. But read the article, and I'm going to, well, this might be too long too. Let's see. No. There's a video, Truth Be Told, Targeted Individual Symposium. And yeah. Lots of information.
Targeted individual.
At a rest stop, Minnesota, Twin Cities. The cats were piled from floor to ceiling inside an SUV. Police soon learned that their owner had been living inside the car with them. How is that even possible? Holy shit. Wow. Okie dokie. I will put the link to this article. I didn't get a chance to read much of it, but you know, I see the titles of YouTube videos, or I see the headlines of news, and I think to myself, something is going to be coming up. You know, we're getting massaged with the propaganda. Is it going to be bird flu? Is it going to be the zombie disease, the brain-eating disease? People talking to sheriffs and divulging information, and you don't get to know who they are, which I hate that I'm suspect when you get these anonymous reports. But we know something will be happening. And unfortunately, are we going to get to 2025? I say those numbers. Wasn't there a song in the year? Oh, it was 25. They're talking about bird flu, and that now jumping from animal to human, and 2 Wyoming hunters died from eating venison that was infected with the Pyron, the zombie deer disease. And you know, it certainly matters if it's true, because your heart goes out to the family members who survived, but we don't know if it's true. We don't know. We sure do know that they make up a lot. 2 boys gang raped a 9-year-old in school bathroom. They were suspended for a day. 1 day. 1 day? Family of Portland girl? 1 day? Okay. They were suspended for 1 day? And how about that 16-year-old who made the mistake and said illegal alien, upsetting his Hispanic classmates? Were they illegal aliens? Because if they were American, they might not have been upset. And why is it only the Hispanics? Don't we have an awful lot coming from other countries? Yeah, we do. A whole lot of countries. A whole lot of continents. It's not just, Central or South America. And we have very few Mexicans coming over the border, because Any Mexican that's sane wouldn't be coming over the border. 40-year-old illegal immigrant to the UK was set for deportation, but the flight crew refused to deport him. He then made news holding a sign that said migrants are not criminals at a detention center. He got to stay in the UK. Now he's brutally raped a 15-year-old, and the flight crew who stopped his flight for deportation, yeah, they should all be charged. Migrants are not criminals. Well, you know what? I am just going to go. I'm just so tired. I got very little sleep last night. I literally, when I listen to these dogs start barking, I literally get upset. I didn't know any of this. I learned it the first night that I slept here. There's a kennel behind me. There are dogs right on the side. There are dogs on the other side. No joke. From like 7:30 until about 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. Non-stop, incessant barking, very loud. And I hear them barking now, and I'm telling you, I may go insane. I may, because this is torture. This is torture. Listening to this. And it's been going on every single night. Last night was the worst, because I was like, are you flipping kidding me? And how do they bark like that? How do they might take short breaks. Don't they hurt their throats or whatever? I am so scared for tonight. So I'm just going to leave you with that. And say, live honestly, speak honestly, give some solace to those you know who are having a hard time. Reach out to them, support them. Don't judge people based on your own experience. Very important. Very important. So thank you for showing up. Hope to see you tomorrow night. And good night and good luck. Ciao, guys.